All right, right off the bat, hit like, hit subscribe, hit like, hit subscribe. My name is Judson Powell, and I am the host of the fastest 15 minutes in social media and here on the internet. And what I want to talk about today is these mass shootings. And from what I understand, there was another mass shooting in Ohio overnight. And also, so now we have the one in El Paso. I guess the death toll has gone up because they found somebody who was a victim, and they believe that he was a immigrant, and so he didn't try to go to the hospital. He ran off into the woods and he passed away in the woods. So that's very tragic and very unfortunate. Anyway, let's talk about this whole thing, because I posted on a friend of mine's Facebook post. And my response to what he was talking about was the fact of, I believe that a lot of this stuff is sort of like the Manchurian Candidates. And basically what we're talking about, if anybody saw that movie or whatever, basically people brainwashed, trained in order to do things or carry out certain acts of heinous crimes that nobody else would commit. And so I look at this and basically all of these people, they have the same profile. They're young, they're white. They were bullied or disenfranchised as young kids. They were not included in the crowd. They usually have a social media presence, which is talking about guns and violence, and they usually, are talking about President Trump. And so I also posted on my Facebook talking about the fact that all of this stuff since President Trump, and a lot of people are talking about it, not just me, but a lot of people are talking about the fact that these incidents, these hate crime incidents have gone up dramatically since Trump was president. And we know that the killing and the murdering of and the police brutality against young black men, Africans of African descent, of the descendants of slaves here in America. I try to use all the vernacular that I can so that you know exactly, look, the black man in America, the African man in America is under attack, and they're trying to blame us for, they always blame us for black on black crime. But what about all these mass shooters? All these mass shooters have a similar profile. And so, but when they're caught, okay, when a black kid is caught, doing something that's not even a heinous crime, he's murdered on the spot. He's killed on the spot. They don't even give him any mercy. They don't take him into custody. All of these white boys have been taken into custody. What? They've been taken into custody without any type of, this guy, the picture on the internet, he's standing there. He basically is just standing there. There's two police officers. One is in uniform, one is in plain clothes. They don't even look like they're paying attention to him. And that's what is motivating me to think that this is a conspiracy. The reason why, and the guy, the Dillon guy, roof guy in South Carolina, they took him to Burger King and got him, and they talked about the meal that they bought him before they took him to jail. So this is leading me to believe that the government is sponsoring these killings. I believe, and then there's no information. Then after the person is gone or they're in jail, the other thing is, how can you shoot innocent people and then you go to jail? The protocol in jail is shooting innocent people or shooting children or anything like that, you would be harmed in jail. None of these people, you don't hear anything about them being harmed in jail. For Christ's sake, you hear about like R. Kelly being bothered in jail, or Bill Cosby being bothered in jail, or other people being bothered in jail. The Epstein guy, because he's a child molester or whatever. But none of these people are ever bothered in jail. You don't ever hear about them, anything happening to them. They might get strict penalties. I think Roof got the death penalty. But look, here's the thing. This seems like a government conspiracy. It seems like a government, all of them have the same type of training. They have the same, they make these manifestos talking about how they want to, and they all follow the agenda of President Trump. So, is President Trump like a Charles Manson? That's what I'm getting at. I'm getting at the point that the president is the motivation behind, he is responsible for the deaths of those people in El Paso. Because this young man, 21 years old, and from what it looks like, he's been plotting to do this for a couple of years. All right. And basically he's following all of the rhetoric that the fake news, false rhetoric that President Trump is putting out there. All right, don't get it twisted, because everything. That's why I was mentioning the black men who are, when they're trying to be taken into custody, they're killed or beaten, and we get that on the internet every day. On the internet every day, you see some black man or some black woman that is being beat to a pulp, and there are pictures of it and everything else over minor things like traffic infractions or, trespassing or things like that. Things that are very minor, minute crimes, but yet and still police officers are being, trained. And you have to say it, they're being trained to beat these people, within an inch of their lives or to take their lives. But then when these guys, the guy that was in Las Vegas that shot into the crowd in Las Vegas, he turned the gun on himself or whatever. No information, nothing. They couldn't figure out. Then you got the guy, the Christchurch shooter, even although it was overseas, no information, nothing. But these guys have been on the internet. They have been doing all of these things, and all of the things that they're doing, they're carrying out the agenda, the hate agenda of President Trump. Okay, because what happened, and there are literally thousands of posts all over the internet talking about how basically, the terrorists are not Muslims. But yet and still, we're always worried about Muslims. We got travel. When President Trump first got into office, what was the first thing he tried to do? Travel ban. And there have been no incidents of any type of Muslim, any type of Islamic threat or anything to the country, And basically, the reason why that was because President Obama, got rid of everybody on the terrorist watch list. Go back and look and study this. There basically were no terrorists left by the time Obama left office. Everybody that was on that terrorist watch list or whatever, they were either captured or killed. There was nobody left. All right. And I'm just saying, and the other thing is that those people who are on those terrorist watch lists do not represent Islam. They do not represent the Muslim population. If you really want to know, most Muslims are very kind, gentle, and peaceful people. They're not. There are no way what the media and what President Trump is trying to say about them. Yeah, they are evil, and there are evil people of every race, creed, color, and religion. There are evil people in every race, creed, color, or religion. I'm not trying to say they're not, but what I'm saying is to target people based on their ethnicity, their race, their creed, their color is wrong. And even it's against the law in the United States. Our Constitution and our laws are not about that. And that's why when people are like coming at me about why should we impeach President Trump, is because he does not follow the rule of law. He really does not. We have laws. We are a nation of laws. But our president does not follow those laws. The same thing with the Mexicans. The reason why this shooting happened, this guy, from what I understand, he drove 10 hours. This Patrick guy, he drove 10 hours in order to commit this crime, in order to commit this is a terrorist act. He drove 10 hours to commit a terrorist act. And what he was doing was he was trying to carry out the agenda of President Trump about the border wall and Mexicans are a danger to our society and all that, which is further from the truth than anything. Mexicans, once again, and I live in Arizona, and I'm going to tell you, most Mexicans are kind. They are nice. They're gentle people. They're very family oriented. They are peaceful. Most of them are not out here. Most of them are not gang members. Most of them are out here working hard, trying to take care of their families and doing the things that are necessary to be productive citizens in the United States of America. They really are. And that's the truth. The truth is that most Mexicans are not here trying to take anything or get anything. And most of them, they just want to live the American dream and live a good life. That's basically what it's about. But President Trump has made this antagonistic type of thing, like where, they're coming in here, they're taking our jobs, they're doing this, they're doing that. Look, y'all, most Americans most Native Americans, and I don't mean that as talking about Indians, but I'm saying most Americans who were born here or who were naturalized here, they don't want those jobs. And I'm being honest. I'm not being racist or anything like that. But you're not gonna come over here and go down to Yuma and stay out in the field all day and pick corn or pick lettuce or pick cucumbers or anything like that or whatever. You're not gonna do that work. You are not going to do that work. And even the farmers, farmers who were of European descent, what did they say? They said, look, if these Mexicans don't come out here and pick this fruit, then it's all going to rot in the field. Because we can't get European descendant Americans to do this work. Be honest. That's what I'm saying. And the whole thing, all of this stuff is predicated on stuff that is made up and a lie. And then people are running around here hating other people for no reason. The earth it belongs to the Most High. The earth doesn't belong to anybody. The earth belongs to the Most High. And our job is just to take care of it while we're here, so that we can leave it in good shape for the next generation or for the next people. Our whole thing is backwards. We're thinking of things in a backwards type of way. And we got to stop doing that. And Donald Trump is the most backwards person ever. That's why he needs to be impeached. It's not necessarily about, everybody's like, well, even if he gets impeached, he might not leave office. Well, so what? He still needs to be, in a punitive way, he needs to be punished. This man and we know there's evidence. If you read the Mueller report, there's evidence. If look at Mitch McConnell, they're tied in wholeheartedly to these Russians. And because they are more so descendants of the Russians than they are descendants of any other race or creed or color of people. So understand that that's what's really going on. But these attacks are motivated by the government. And I wouldn't be surprised if later on down the line it is discovered that these groups are being supported and being taken care of. And see, it's always by the government. And it's always this lone gunman thing. They get one person, because see, if I can easily control, if I can send somebody in and kill 20 people like this guy did, it's very easy as a government entity for me to control this person. I can control him very easily. Why? Because, hey, if everything don't go right, boom. Oh, well, we stormed the room and he was dead when we got in there. How do we know? Or we took him into custody. But once he gets in custody, can't nobody see him, can't nobody talk to him, even if he gets a lawyer. And the other thing is, if he gets a public defender, that public defender is on whose payroll? Whose payroll, and who can get paid off from that? And we know that type of stuff happens. So my thing is, I believe that all these mass shootings are conspiracy theory by the government in order to influence the way people vote, in order to influence the laws, but all of the domestic terrorism that is taking place and that it has taken place since Donald Trump has been in office has been committed by white people, police officers, mostly white men and police officers. And the police officer thing has been going on since before the election. It literally started before the election. If you notice, most of those people, the whole Black Lives Matter thing and everything like that, it started when Obama was still in office. Obama's last year in office, running up to the election and through the election. And it's been continuing. Look at the patterns. Don't just take my word for it. Look at the patterns and see for yourself, and look for yourself and observe for yourself what is exactly happening. And these guys, and how do these people, the other thing is, nobody wants gun control, but these people continually walk in with these military assault weapons, body armor, all kind of stuff to protect your family, you don't need all of that stuff. All right. We have, when the Second Amendment came into effect, there were no armies and militias and police officers. There were no police forces and sheriffs and all of that. There was none of that. All right. And then, there in a whole county, there might be one marshal, and he would have to ride a horse all the way across the county to get to your house. Well, that's, so you needed weapons. That's not true anymore. Most people can have emergency assistance at their house within 10, 15 minutes at the most. So there's no reason for you to have, body armor, assault rifles, armor piercing bullets, all this stuff that they walk around with on a continuing basis. But remember, the greatest terrorist threat in America is white males, white men. Always will be, always has been, and we need to do something about it. If they're going to change laws to protect us from them. All right. I'm Judson Powell, Fast 15 Minutes on social media. I love you. Like, subscribe.